Today I'm going to teach you how to make homemade bread. You don't need any special equipment, just your two little hands. Okay, today we're going to make homemade bread. What you need is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I don't have self-rising flour, just regular old flour. A tablespoon and a half of sugar, a teaspoon and a half of salt, a cup and a half of water, and a packet of, or a teaspoon and a half of yeast. So we're going to start by adding 3 cups in here. I reserve a half a cup. I put 3 cups. This part is not necessary. I just do it because, I don't know, I feel like it makes the bread lighter, but I've done it with, I've done it without. Nobody else can tell but me. So that's 2 cups in there. That's 3 cups. And I just shake it real quick. Shaky, 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 shaky. Now, I reserve half a cup. Let me move this over here. I want to show you something. Half a cup of flour for when I start to roll and knead. But instead of digging your scoop in there, the proper way of taking it out is by spooning it out and kind of just, you know, dropping it in there lightly. I just do it here. Not really going to kill us if we get a little bit too much, because sometimes you need a little bit more flour, sometimes you need a little bit less. But I'm going to put this off to the side. I'll sift it, but I don't always sift that last piece. Okay, so this is in here. We're going to mix our dry ingredients. Before I do that though, here is a cup of water. I'm going to reserve a half a cup because you don't always need it. But you want your water to be within 100 to 120 degrees. I'm right at 100. What you want to do, it might be even a little cold. Let me add a little bit hot water. Okay. So that's a little warmer. 110 degrees or 115 degrees. Almost like if you're going to give a baby a bath and you're going to stick them in the tub. So you want to make it like that. Tepid. If you make it over 120, it's going to kill the yeast. So what you want to do is you want to take about a cup, because you need a cup and a half of the water. I'm going to just add the yeast in on the top, and then I'm going to add the is it a tablespoon? I don't remember now, of sugar. Yeah, a tablespoon and a half. That's going to feed the yeast and wake it up. That's got to be covered and sit for 10 minutes. That's the biggest part of the wait before you can start. So we're just going to cover that up, let it sit for 10 minutes. Bring this here. I'm going to add in my dry ingredient here, which is all I have left, is the salt. So I'm going to add that in. And then I'll come back in 10 minutes to show you what to do from there. Okay, I'm back. It's been 10 minutes. I just sat this off to the side in a warm area. Let's see if we got any. Oh yeah, look at that. You see that froth? Now you know that yeast is alive. So that's great. I have my extra half a cup of flour over here. I got that, and then just in case I need some. So basically what you do here, it's just that simple. I have the flour and the salt in here, the sugar and the water. Look at my thing, it's bent. That's funny. I'm just gonna stir this up. I still need another half a cup of warm water, but I don't add the whole cup and a half because sometimes you don't need it and then I got too much water. But what we're gonna do is, your hands are clean, counters are clean. We're just gonna get in here and just start making bread. So it's all gotta go in because I gotta get all that yeast in there. And then I'm just gonna get a little bit of extra water just in case I need it. Again, not too hot because it has to be like a baby's bottom. Okay. There's the extra water. So I'm going to stir in here. I don't have a bread machine. Kind of feel like it's cheating when you do the bread machine. I don't know. Oh, look. I used the little end instead of the big end. All right. Well, hands are going in it anyway at some point. So now I'm just going to just mix until it comes away from the side of the bowl. And it's really not that hard because, you know, I suffered a bad injury to my shoulder and my back, and I'm able to make this. So if I can do it, you can do it, because I am nothing more than a house mom cook. There's nothing special about me. It's just, these are things I've learned over time feeding my family. And now I'm a second time around where I'm raising my grandbabies and two that I adopted through foster care. And yeah, so these are just what I've learned as through time. I'm not even sure where I picked it up. Okay, you see that? It's already getting like that. So I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna put it on the counter. See, we may not need the extra water or the extra other stuff, but I might need a little bit for my hands. Let's put some on the counter there. Push that off to the side. And then we're just gonna knead it. It's just the easiest bread you ever wanna make. Where's my yeast? I wanna show you something. If you have a Walmart near you, oh goodness, let me use this towel. I keep my yeast in the freezer. I don't know why, I just do. But on the back of the Walmart fast rising yeast, these are 77 cents for 3 of them. They didn't have the jar, so I had to buy this. But there's a easy bread. It's not the same as mine because they add butter. I can't add butter because of Eric. But I do use vegetable spread from time to time. But that's where we're at right now. So let's get to kneading. This is just going to make 1 loaf of bread. And we're just going to keep bending and pushing it away. Quarter turn, push away. Quarter turn, push away. Until it gets to the consistency that's bread. Now, you'll know when it's there. Look, see, I didn't even need all that flour. Now we have to keep, you know, this is going to take about 5 minutes, if that, maybe 3 minutes, because I've already been doing it for maybe a minute. And it's really almost coming together now. It's not even sticky anymore. Sometimes it gets a little sticky. I almost stuck my fingers in there, and I don't want to do that because if I want to put the flour back, you can't do that. But yeah, that's basically it. We're going to let this When we're done, we're gonna let this rise for about a half an hour, 40 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna bake it. It's that simple. I mean, you can have no bread, an hour later you got bread. And makes your house smell so good. When I tell you this house smells like, at the end, sometimes I do, I put a little bit of the butter on top so it makes a nice soft split loaf. But yeah, I'll show you how you know when you're done, because I could feel it. This dough is done. And we gotta let it rest because the gluten's in it. We gotta let those like loosen back up because working it, I guess. I don't really know the technical terms, but when you see your dough, put it in a ball. You see how quick that was? And you see that? It's not sticking to my fingers, and it's like a baby's cheek. So what we're going to do now, me and my dirty hands, is we're going to take the same the same bowl that we mixed it in. I'm going to spray it down. I inhaled some of it. We're going to stick that there. Now what I do, not everybody does this, but sometimes I've noticed that I go to come back and it's like a little bit dry on top. So I just give it a little bit of, this is vegetable oil. And now I'm going to take this and just lay it over top, and I'm going to set it off to the side by the oven. I turned on 350 for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then I turned it off because that makes the oven nice and hot. And I stick it right by where the jet comes out. I stick it right where not the jet, the exhaust on the back of my stove. I stick it right back by there. It's nice and warm there, and it will rise. So I'll come back in an hour and I'll show you what we've got, and we'll go from there. Okay, so it's been about 40 minutes. Let's just see if it rose. I sprayed the inside of the pan down with just a little bit of vegetable oil so it doesn't stick. Some people heat up the loaf pan and then put the bread in it and stick it right in the oven. I don't. Ooh, look at that. Look how big she rose. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna knead this one more time before I put it in there. You don't have to. It's nice and warm. But I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna put it in there. I'm gonna let it sit for 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna put it in the oven. But I got the oven heating at 425. Just gonna get it one last, get my bracelets out of there. Give it one last kneading. I say this bread really doesn't need it. It's already done. Just twist, fold, and push away. Twist, fold, push away. My grandson, who likes to cook with me, we make 2 loaves at one time. He makes a loaf and I make a loaf. And at 12 years old, he can make bread. So if ever he's without bread, he can make it. Okay, so what I do is when I get this all nice and looking like a log, I just tuck it under. Make it look like a loaf of bread. And I'm gonna let this sit because when I'm messing with it, you stir the glutens up again. And I don't like the way that looks. Let me try again. Not that it makes a difference, because it's gonna be what it be anyway. All right, so I'm gonna stick this back in this pan here. I'm gonna let it sit for maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. I'm gonna cover it up once more. Stick it over here where it's nice and warm, let it rise. I'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 20, 25 minutes. I have my oven preheating at 425. This should have probably, I don't know if it doubled in size, but it should be bigger than it was when we were done. I have this on top because I don't have a Dutch oven, so I just put another one on top like that. Oh, yes. Look at that. That's wonderful. Just getting a pair of scissors. The only thing I do right now is I don't touch it. I just touched it, right? I just put little snip here, and a snip here. It's not necessary, but when the when the bread starts cooking, sometimes it'll split in crazy ways. So I just give it a little bit of a head start. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to set it down on top like that. This cooks anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes, depending on your oven at 425. I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to take the top off, and then I'm going to put it back into the oven. Well, I'm not going to take it out of the oven. I'm just going to take the top off, and we're going to go from there. And I'll let you know what the cooking time on this was. Really simple bread. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay, I'm just going to put this in the oven. Don't mind my dirty oven. There you go. We'll be back in about 25 minutes. Okay, just in time. So I'm going to take the bread out of the oven. See how it's doing. It's been 25 minutes. If you could smell it in here, whoo, smells like a bakery. Oh, look at that. Can you see it? Look at that bread. Can you believe it? I don't even think it needs to go back in. Well, it might need another minute or two in there. Still a little bit soft on top, but I'm going to put it in there. I'm sure if you could see it. I'm going to put it in there for another maybe 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, just to brown it up on top. And I'll be back. Okay, that's been about 3 minutes. I don't really think I need more than that. Let me take this out of the oven. Oh yeah, I didn't need any more than that. Any more than that, it would have been burned. But that is quick, easy, easy peasy bread. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hope it comes out. Oh, it did. And then I'm gonna put it right there. Yeah, see, any longer it probably would have burned, but that is it. We're gonna let her sit there and cool off and serve her with dinner tonight. That's it. If I can do it, you can do it. Got a little bit of butter on it. Give it a shot, Eric. Oh, that's a big old bite. Make sure you keep your mouth closed.
Delicious.
Delicious? What do you tell me? It's better than?
It's better than regular bread.
Yeah. That's because I have the special ingredient. You know what that is?
Let me guess. Love.
Love, that's right. Okay. Let's go.
Well, there you have it. I hope you try it. I know you'll like it. And do me a favor. Subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell.